Hello, hello. We are back for another episode of Amateur Podcast. I am Thaddeus, and he is.
This is Duran. Hello, everyone.
Well, that was better than last episode. I'll take it.
Shut up.
Um, um, let's talk about dating a little bit with this one. And
Let's talk about.
I don't mean I don't mean like the freaking like, oh well, let's get serious with it. No, let's have some fun with it. It's too much seriousness going around. There's a lot of heartbreak and serious moments.
Hmm
It's like let's talk about some fun stuff. Um, so I am single. Woo woo. Will I be single for Valentine's
Hashtag
Day
same.
2025? I don't know. But if I
Okay.
am, I heard that is it like National Singles Day, like the day after or before?
Yeah, I think so.
Hold on. I gotta Google it.
Or isn't it Galentine?
National Single
I thought that was for women though. I thought
February.
that was for women though.
Okay. February
February what?
February 15th.
Oh, okay. It is the next day after. Cool. So everybody take care of your single friends on the 15th.
Yep.
Okay?
And
Don't
you
forget
know
about
what? We
them.
got it easy. We got it easy because guess what's on sale on the 15th? That's right. All that
Chocolate.
expensive ass candy you bought for your mark ass girlfriend. Yeah. I get it half off the next day. So take that, people who are in love. So let's
That is the one.
let's I'm single. Derizzle, are you okay with giving your
I am also.
status?
I'm also single. Yeah, I'm
Course.
currently sad. I'm
Yay,
single.
no one wants us. No, but
What is wrong with you?
of course, we've been on a lot of dates. We've been in relationships, obviously. What is the most inappropriate first date setting you've ever been on?
Most inappropriate. Well, that's a good question. So, what do you mean by inappropriate? Like
Like,
this? Oh, this. Like gone on the date and then been like, oh, that was a bad idea for a first date.
no, I just like here's the
Or
thing. I don't pick bad date settings. So if I'm at a place I think is inappropriate, best believe that was all on them, you know? So like
okay.
so like I guess what I mean is more so setting, like have you ever been on a first date that was like, all right, this is not my preferred first date setting. Like I don't know why I went with this, you know.
Well, for me, I would say the classical, like, bad first date, in my opinion, is
What is it?
movies.
Oh my, that's
In
mine
movies,
too. Oh my gosh. I got
I
excited because I'm like, we're
I
probably gonna have the
am
same one.
I am so sick of that because yes, let's all go, hey stranger, hello, nice to meet you. It's time to go into a room and then not talk to you for an hour plus, hour and a half plus. And then afterwards, assuming now we know stuff about each other. You didn't even talk to the person. What the heck?
Yeah, like yo,
No.
I promise you, like we ain't going like if you watching this and you trying to fill me, like we ain't seen a movie theater until like weeks and months. Like I need to get to know you. How am I supposed to get to know you if we watching this 2 hour, 3 hour movie? Like I no. And why is that the
The
first
only way
date?
you could put the only way you could possibly do this is if the person's gonna talk all the way through the whole movie. At which point, why did you go to the movies?
And I know y'all
Now
probably
you
gonna
ruined the
say,
experience.
because I know if like someone else is in this call, they'd probably be like, oh, well, you can go to like, you can go to the restaurant before or after and have a conversation with them. It's like, no.
Now,
Like, I want to
no, no,
bond
no.
with
I
you.
agree.
How am I
Hold
supposed to?
on.
I want to
Stop.
bond with you the whole time I'm there. How am I supposed to bond with you if 2 or 3 hours out of that whole chunk, we're not even talking to each other. We're not even looking at one another. Like, no, I'm not. No. Like I think I don't even wouldn't go to the movies for the second date, to be honest with you. I wouldn't. I wouldn't
No,
go for the third.
I think movies an activity you do with your friends because we all know each other, we're all cool. Or like maybe after you've been on a few dates, like I'm talking about 5 or 6 minimum before it's good. But but I'll go back to your point where you're saying, oh, movies pair that with a like a date type thing, like oh, go get dinner before
Like
or
dinner, yeah.
after, and I or whatever lunch or whatever meal before or after, and I can't stand those two as a combination because you go from having absolutely no conversation to the person to now you are like locked in set with the person for the most intense conversations. It's just it's like, hot to cold right away. Which is good for getting, I guess, good for getting to know the person, but I don't know. It's just I can't stand it. Or cold to hot right away. Either way you do it, it just doesn't work out in my opinion. I think the best first date setting is coffee with an understanding that oh, I just have to grab, I can't stay that long. So you go in with like, okay, yeah, I have a quick 30 minutes. Let's grab some coffee. Let's chat, right? And if it's going well, and I love that one because that's my preferred first date because if it's going well, I don't got nowhere to be. I have to say I don't got nowhere to be. But if it's not going well, it's like, oh my goodness, look at the time. I have to go to run some errands or something. I gotta go. Bye. Um, it's very, you can wrap it at any moment. You know what you can't wrap at any moment?
Movie.
Movies
Uh-huh.
and,
Yeah.
and dinner. You can't wrap that at any moment because, okay, the waiter did not, they just said something that's completely disqualifying, but the waiter did not bring the check yet, or the food is, still being made, and you're like, oh gosh. Because what's the worst thing that can happen? They could say something really awful, and then you want to leave your cup of coffee. Okay, I'll leave my cup of coffee. Sure, whatever. Bye. Like it's just a cup of coffee. I'll come back and get it later.
Think
I don't know. But what do you think? Do you agree with me about that's the perfect first date or what you want?
I do, and I'm gonna get there in a second. I want to touch on this first part. I don't. So I think most of the time when I go on my dates, I am the one who picks the setting. So I don't really have any like ground shaking inappropriate first date setting. What I will say is that I have been to people's houses on the first date, and I don't
Uh-huh.
mean like we went somewhere and went back to that. Like I mean like the whole date was the house. you know? And well that's only happened once. And it's cool. I mean, the person the the person was cool. Yeah, it was a guy. The dude was cool and it was fine. And I got a chance to get to know him. But considering that it was our first time meeting, I was a little bit upset because, this dude lived he lived a little like far from us and a little closer to where I work, but apparently he was complaining that where I work is kind of out of reach. Um, so I ended up just going to his house instead, and it was perfectly fine. Like it was, we talked. That's literally all we did, to be honest. We just talked, and it was cool. His place was nice. I was a little frustrated though because I'm like, I I don't see why we couldn't have met somewhere in between my job and this and his place for us to have the same conversations, but just, you know, in at like a local bar or, a coffee shop or something. And that doesn't mean we couldn't have
It
gone
was
back to his house. I'm not shooting that down. What I'm shooting down is the fact that if I'm meeting you for the first time, it shouldn't be at your front door. Like, I don't think that should be the case. And I I can confirm that it was a date, and I think it was really inappropriate. I think, and it wasn't me who picked this. This was him, and I want to stop myself for a second and say that I did have a good time, and he was a good dude. We never went further, but it was a good time. I thought it was a little selfish on his part. I mean, for starters, I had to drive out for his house, and remember, like I was saying, it was like more so close to my job and not where I live. So like it was like a it was this was the middle of the week, and it was a pretty lengthy drive home. And um it was late by the time I got back on a work night. And I actually recall him telling me that he did not have, I'm not going to tell you guys what he did for a living, but I did do recall him telling me that he did not have work the next day or something on the lines of that. And I'm like, you could have just drove to like we could have just drove to like a nearby in between bar or something, you know. And
you
again,
should have. I'll just
and again,
part of the planning. You guys should have planned it better.
well, the thing is, and this is the part that kind of blends in with this idea of like, oh well, you know, uh how far is too far for to consider someone as a date, a potential romantic interest. And perhaps I think he was a little bit too far to the point where everything or most things or most ideas seemed not convenient for the both of us. And I guess I just figured that, I'm not going to try to fight him on it. And I do want to meet him, and we
Um,
did video chat and talk. I didn't feel like he was a threat, but I was a little annoyed at the fact that like there should be no reason why we couldn't have had this whole ordeal in a public restaurant or bar or coffee shop or something, That to me I thought was extremely inappropriate. I actually had to think about that. That didn't happen not too long ago, to be honest. That was not that long ago. That was like a few months ago, but it's a little frustrating. Um, Now, preferred first date setting is I'm on the same line as you, coffee shop. It's always going to be coffee shop for me. So it's a couple of things. I want to do something where we can talk, and I want to do something that we can talk in public. Um, I have never been on a date where I did not get what I expected, because I do a lot of research on people before I go out with them. And I'm not just talking about like, I find them on social media or some shit. I don't mean that. But like I mean like, we talk on the phone, we video chat, we use Snapchat so we get an idea of how each other look, you know, realistically look, not the modified, manipulated pictures we put on our, whatever profiles. Um I That's what I want to do, before meeting the person. So when I do meet them, I'm never in a position or never been in a position where I felt like I needed to evacuate. But if I ever needed to evacuate, I can always drop my coffee or not even walk into the coffee shop. I can see the person, talk to them for a bit, and decide I don't want to go any further. And that's why I like it. It gives you it's a very relaxing vibe. Even if you don't even drink coffee, I still think you should not ever turn that down. I think that's a great first date setting. I also like going to parks. That's another one. And that's really, one thing that people do the first date that I'm not a big fan of is restaurants. Like I don't want to. I think that's like the most overrated preferred first date setting. Like I do not want to go to a restaurant. I don't want to sit across from you at this bougie place. I don't want you to judge me on the amount of the tip amount I give or the food I order or the way I eat. Like it's too much going on. I would rather save that for like second, third, fourth date or something. I think coffee shop is a cool vibe. You don't have to you can just sit back, drink coffee and talk, maybe eat a snack, maybe go on a walk afterwards. That's my vibe for the first date.
Well, I think restaurant dates have their place because you can kind of brush serious topics off in a coffee date, like you just say, oh, but that's a long story or something like that. But with more intimate settings like that, it's like elaborate. What do you mean?
Also, another thing
Like
too.
you have some assurance that yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done, Duran. I'm sorry.
No, no, no.
No,
No. I was
continue.
just saying you have some assurance. You just have some assurance that the other person is not going to leave in the next 20 minutes that you don't have if you at a coffee shop.
What do you mean?
Like when you're out on a like restaurant date, you have assurance that like this person is they ain't going nowhere. If I got to tell a long story, they are here to hear it, basically.
So are you sorry? Wait, so are you saying this is your reasoning behind why you wouldn't want to do or why it's
No,
okay?
no, no. I'm just saying restaurant dates have their place. I think when you want to see when you're like getting serious with somebody, that's when you put the restaurant date in there. Like I don't think the coffee date should be okay, we're gonna go on 6 coffee dates type thing. That doesn't to me that's like what's going on? You
Yeah.
know?
But and I don't really like first dates where we're too preoccupied with other things. Like some people might choose an amusement park for a first date. I think that's a terrible idea. Some people might choose mini golfing. I think that's a terrible idea. I like to do things where I don't have to focus too much on other stuff because again, I'm trying to get to know this person and I'm trying to feel their vibe. How am I supposed to do that if I'm worrying about beating this person's ass in mini golf or going on
Why would you be
a hello? Oh, did we lose him? Did we lose him, you guys? I think we might have lost him. Well, until he comes back, I just want to
what are you
say
talking
that
about?
are you back?
What
You good?
were you gonna say while I was
You
gone?
good
Yeah.
over there,
What were you
Mr.
gonna say while I
India?
was gone?
Mr. India Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I just got a little disconnected. That's fine. Um,
Okay. Um, but yeah,
what were you
it sounded
what were
like
you
you were
gonna say
about
while
to
I
say
was gone,
something. It
huh?
sounded like you were about to say that you have a problem with me saying amusement parks and other fun, exciting stuff.
No, no, no. I just thought it was funny that you were saying that you're gonna focus on beating that person in mini golf. That that's not. Well, you should be letting them win.
I mean, it depends. Why would I? No, no. Why would
Hmm.
no, I'm not gonna let it's mini golf. It's not like we running for president or something. Like, we can play a little mini golf. I mean, come on. You bring your best, I bring mine. If I win, I win. If you win, you win. It's no big deal. What I would do is probably make a cute little deal, be like, hey, if I win, I don't know, do something cute, I guess. But I'm not gonna take it easy. Besides, I'm not good at mini
Okay.
golf. So, I mean, they're probably gonna win anyway. So, like, I'm not gonna
Okay.
purposely
Even if you
look
try
bad.
really hard. Okay, okay. I respect it.
Um,
I respect it.
but yeah, I don't do restaurant like first dates. I don't. I think restaurants are ridiculous.
I say this despite I agree with you, despite my last first date being at a restaurant.
Which again, I think they have their place, but for me, I think it's more so like date two or three. Um, but that's just me, you know. Um, I'm trying to think. The first date. Oh, one more thing I want to add to that. Bookstores. Perfect for,
Love them.
oh my goodness. Perfection for first dates. And here's the thing, I like to read and I like smart people. Okay. I like smart people and I like to read. Okay. So you can find out a lot about a person if you take them to a bookstore during the first date. Okay. Um, I I'm sorry. I don't think there's such thing as smart people out there who don't read. It's just if you think you're smart and you don't read, I don't think you're smart. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't. I
Dang.
mean, like you I mean, come on. How can you say you're smart and you haven't picked up a book or read something, a textbook, something?
Well, there's a reason that being, when someone says, "Oh, he's well read," that means that the person's smart. Like there's a synonym with like, "Oh, he reads a lot. He's smart." Like that's a thing.
Okay, but I want to know if you read a lot. So that's why
Who,
I
me?
like going to bookstores too. And most bookstores have cafes. So love me a good bookstore. I went on this one date a while back.
I also love a good bookstore.
And you know what's funny? You would think we went to Barnes and Noble, but no, we actually went to like a cute little bookstore in their little neighborhood. And yeah, this place actually didn't have a cafe, but we went like somewhere else, and it was a cute overall vibe. It really was. Yeah. So I dig it. I dig it. But that's my preferred first date setting. I'm not gonna do a pet
Mine as
peeve
well.
today, but I'm gonna wrap this up with something
Um,
cute. Would you date someone who has the same name as your ex?
Cute.
Huh?
I didn't hear you. What was the something cute?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. India Wi-Fi. Um, would you date someone who has the same name as your ex?
Oh,
It is funny. I just looked at my screen.
yeah.
It's like Duran's network bandwidth is low, and I'm like, we know.
Um, yes, I would. Okay, I have done it in the past, and I will do it again.
Woohoo! I have done it in the past. I have dated someone. My last relationship, I was talking to someone a little bit afterwards who has the exact same name. And um I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't like the way my relationship ended, and I don't like the way things went with this next person who has the same name. So I think that this name I'm going to stay away from for a bit because clearly the universe, God, whoever's in control, is trying to tell me that this is not the person for me. And it doesn't matter who this person is, if they have this name, they're not the one for yours truly. So,
You're like, I just know. Skip ahead. They're not the one.
yep. And I'm not going to say the name
No,
because no,
yeah, don't say the name.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna say the name because like I don't want anyone watching this thinking like, okay, I'm never gonna have a chance with him because I have that name. Please, if you think you can fill the role,
Oh my
you can try to
goodness.
convince. I mean,
Please apply for this position.
listen. I mean, I was in a long-term-ish relationship with someone with the same name, so I mean, it might work. It wasn't all bad, you know.
Okay.
But
Okay. Well, I will say personally, I think reading too much into names is like reading into tea leaves or zodiac signs, which I also don't believe in. Um, it's just you can't really predict much about a person with a certain name. Because like I've known people who are named, Michael, who are complete and utter jerks and snobs and whatever. And I've also known people who are really sweet with that same name. And I didn't even know it was their name until they like, oh yeah, actually my name's Michael. And you're like, wow. They're
What
not
are the
all
odds?
evil. You said, what are the odds? I thought they were all evil. I thought they made them in the evil factory.
Duran, I don't. So, as for those of you who don't know, me and Duran met romantically at first, and then that lasted for a bit, and then not a bit, but like what, a few months, and then
Yeah.
we transitioned into a friendship, and we turned into very close friends. And um, now that you guys know this, I can say this: I don't think I'm ever gonna date anymore with your name. You got one of them NFL star names. I don't know if I'm ever going to
Okay.
break in. You are going to be the only Duran I ever find. You know.
Okay.
What's funny? There's a football player that plays for the Commanders, Washington Commanders. His name is Duran Payne, and I think his name is spelled exactly like yours too. That's what I'm saying. Like you got one of them
Oh,
football player names. So
good.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm probably never.
He's out there. He's out there.
See, the name I was talking about a couple minutes ago, it's a very basic name. So there's a lot of
Oh
people
yeah,
out
you're right.
there.
You're never getting.
Yeah. And then
Good
there's
luck.
And then there's me. No one's ever going to find someone with the same name as me.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's never going to happen. Tisk tisk.
Never ever.
Inside joke.
Oh, you're right. It is spelled. Is I looked up Duran Payne. It is spelled. It
Oh, you
spells
Google this
similar, not
man?
exactly identical.
You Googled
I
him?
don't know who he is.
All
Yeah,
right.
of course I Googled it.
Well, I'm pretty sure we wrapped up today. I'm not going to do a pet peeve. Um, Instead, we talked about
Yeah.
names and exes. Until next time, you guys. See you next time.